Hello, let's look into Apache Cassandra, which is fast, fault tolerant, and scalable. Cassandra follows a column-oriented approach. In Cassandra, there are no specialized master nodes. Every node is equal and every node is capable of performing any of the activities required for cluster operation. For instance, when a client performs an operation, a node will be allocated as the coordinator for that operation. When a new member is added to that cluster, a node will be nominated as the seed node from which the new node will seek information. These short-term responsibilities can be performed by any node in the cluster. One of the advantages of a master node is that it can maintain a canonical version of cluster configuration and state. In the absence of such a master node, Cassandra requires that all members of the cluster be kept up to date with the current state of cluster configuration and status. This is achieved by the use of the gossip protocol. Every second, each member of the cluster will transmit information about its state and the state of any other nodes it is aware of up to the 3 other nodes in the cluster. In this way, cluster status is constantly being updated across all members of the cluster. Cluster configuration is persisted in the system key space, which is available to all members of the cluster. A key space is roughly analogous to a schema in a relational database. The system key space contains tables that record metadata about the cluster configuration. This architecture eliminates any single point of failure within the cluster. Although distributed databases with master nodes have strategies to allow for rapid failover, the crash of master node usually creates a temporary reduction in availability, such as momentarily falling back to read-only mode. One of the main topics of gossip within a Cassandra cluster is node availability. The traditional mechanism for detecting node failure is to send heartbeats between nodes. In a widely distributed system, the heartbeats may be lost because of network issues rather than actual node failure. For this reason, Cassandra failure detection is more probabilistic. If you like, nodes in the cluster become increasingly worried about other nodes. If it seems like that a node is down, then the operation will be directed to non-good nodes. Consistent hashing. Cassandra and other Dynamo-based databases distribute data throughout the cluster by using consistent hashing. The raw key, which is analogous to primary key in RDBMS, is hashed. Each node is allocated a range of hash values, and the node that has the specific range for a hashed key value takes responsibility for the initial placement of that data. In the default Cassandra partitioning scheme, the hash values ranges from -263 to 2 raised to 63 to 2 raised to 63 minus 1. Therefore, if there were 4 nodes in the cluster and we want to assign equal numbers of hashes to each node, then the hash ranges for each would be approximately as follows. There are 4 nodes. Node A would be low hashing, would be -2 raised to 63, and high hash would be -2 raised to 63 by 2. And node B, it's -2 raised to 63 by 2 to 0, and node C 0 to 2 raised to 63 by 2, and node D 2 raised to 63 by 2 to 2 raised to 63. Usually visualize the cluster as a ring. So the above values is visualized with the help of rings pattern in the coming slides. The circumference of the ring represents all possible hash values. The location of the node on the ring represents its area of responsibility. Following figure illustrates simple consistent hashing. The value for a row key is hashed, which determines its position on the ring. Nodes in the cluster takes responsibility for ranges of values within the ring and therefore take ownership of specific row key values. So this is the one which describes the consistent hashing with the different 4 nodes. Unbalancing the cluster as we add more nodes. If we double the number of nodes in the cluster, then we can assign the new nodes at points on the ring between existing nodes, and the cluster will remain balanced. However, doubling the cluster is usually impractical. It's more economical to grow the cluster incrementally. Early versions of Cassandra had 2 options when adding a new node. Either remap all the hash ranges, or we could map the new node with an existing range, within an existing range. In the first option, we obtain a balanced cluster, but only after an expensive rebalancing process. In the second option, the cluster becomes unbalanced since each node is responsible for the region of the ring between itself and its predecessor. Adding a new node without changing the ranges of other nodes essentially splits a region in half. Following figure shows how adding a node to the cluster can unbalance the distribution of hash key ranges. So here adding a new node to the Cassandra cluster. It's added in between node A and B. So we have node A, B, C and D in the initial configuration. Now we have virtual nodes. When using virtual nodes, the hash ranges are calculated for a relatively large number of virtual nodes. That is 256 virtual nodes per physical node, typically. And these virtual nodes are assigned to physical nodes. Now, when a new node is added, specific virtual nodes can be reallocated to the new node, resulting in a balanced configuration with minimal overhead. Following figure illustrates the relationship between virtual nodes and physical nodes. Virtual nodes have some other advantages. It's easier to balance a cluster made up of heterogeneous systems, since you can allocate more virtual nodes to more powerful new machines and fewer virtual nodes to underpowered older machines. Also, if a node dies, it can be reconstituted from a large number of physical machines, thus sharing the overhead of recovery more equitably across the cluster. Order preserving partitioning. The Cassandra partitioner determines how keys are distributed across nodes. The default partitioner uses consistent hashing. Cassandra also supports order preserving partitioners that distribute data across the nodes of the cluster as ranges of actual row keys. This has the advantage of isolating requests for how row ranges to specific machines, but it can lead to an unbalanced cluster and may create hotspots, especially if the key value is incrementing. If the key value is a timestamp and the order preserving partitioner is implemented, then all new rows will tend to be created on a single node of the cluster. In early versions of the Cassandra, the order preserving partitioner might be warranted to optimize range queries that could not be satisfied in any other way. Replicas. The consistent hashing algorithm also determines where replicas of data items are stored. The nodes responsible for the hash range that equates to a specific row key value is called the coordinator node. The coordinator is responsible for ensuring that the required number of replica copies of the data are also written. The number of nodes to which the data must be written is known as replication factor and is the n in the NWR notation. By default, the coordinator will write copies of the data to the next n-1 nodes on the ring. So if the replication factor is 3, the coordinator will send replicas of the data item to the next 2 nodes on the ring. In this scenario, each node will be replicating data from the previous 2 nodes on the ring and replicating to the next 2 nodes on the ring. This symbol scheme is referred to as the symbol replication strategy. Cassandra also allows you to configure a more complex and highly available scheme. The network topology aware replication strategy ensures that copies will be available to nodes on other server racks within the same data center or optionally to nodes in another data center altogether. Following figure illustrate these two replication strategies. The first one, symbol replication strategy, replicas return to next adjacent nodes on the ring. The second diagram illustrates network topology strategy where replicas are returned to nodes on another rack or optionally another data center. Snitches. Cassandra uses snitches to help optimize read and write operations. A variety of snitches may be configured. The symbol snitch returns only a list of nodes on the ring. This is sufficient for symbol replication strategy. The rack inferring snitch uses IP address of host to infer their racks and data center location. This snitch supports the network aware replication strategy. The property file snitch uses data in configuration file rather than IP addresses to determine the data center and rack topology. Thank you.